Last season, the number 1 and number 2 overall picks played amazing. They separated themselves from the rest of the draft class, and those two players were Ja Morant and Zion Williamson. After last season, many people thought that Ja Morant was better than Zion, and I was one of those people. Although Zion had the better overall stats, Ja impacted winning, and that's why he walked home with the Rookie of the Year. Not to mention Zion's health concerns and only playing 24 games that season. Before the playoffs this year, Zion made his first All-Star appearance while putting up amazing numbers, but they didn't even make the play-in tournament. On the other hand, Ja Morant's numbers weren't nearly as good, but they were in the play-in tournament. Not to mention that the Grizzlies got hit hard because of health and safety protocols, and they were missing a bunch of key players throughout the season. At this moment in time, Zion was seen as the better player, even though the Pelicans were very disappointing this year. But then, the Grizzlies actually made the playoffs while knocking out Steph Curry and the Golden State Warriors. Ja Morant played amazing that game, and in the first round of the playoffs, he showed us what he could do. A lot of young players failed to rise to the occasion during their first playoff appearance, but not Ja Morant. Ja put up 30 points, 5 rebounds, and 8 assists a game on 49, 32, 78 shooting splits. The Grizzlies also managed to steal a game from Utah on the road. And at this point, it isn't that clear who's the better player. In this video, we're going to break down Zion and Ja and see who is the better player. Going into the draft, Zion Williamson was one of the most hyped up prospects since LeBron James. Ja Morant was still a very hyped up prospect. You don't get the number 2 overall pick and not expect loads of talent from them. But Zion was seen as a generational talent and was the clear number 1 pick. But as their rookie seasons panned out, many people's views shifted. Zion Williamson's defense wasn't as good as expected, and his shooting ability wasn't good at all. He only attempted 0.6 threes a game, and even that number was boosted because he only played 24 games, and one of those games was his debut where he shot 4 threes. Not to mention all the time he missed due to injury. On the other hand, you had Ja Morant that was playing at an elite level for a rookie and was leading his team to the playoffs for the whole season. Before the bubble happened, the Memphis Grizzlies were on pace to make the playoffs. Damian Lillard and the Trailblazers were on a mission, and they ended up getting the playoff spot, but they did face off in the play-in tournament, and Ja played his heart out with 35 points and played really well despite him losing. While Ja was in serious playoff contention, Zion was the 13th seed in the West. And as the year went on, Ja Morant was slowly closing the gap to the point where, I would say by the end of the season, by a small margin, most people thought Ja was the better player than Zion. And as this regular season panned out, the script flipped once again. Zion Williamson emerged as a 27 point per game scorer and was dominating the paint. He shot 61% from the field and was bullying taller and older centers in the league. While Ja's assists and rebounds stayed about the same, his points per game increased by 1.5, and his efficiency was slightly worse. I've seen videos and posts on social media talking about why Ja is one of the most overrated young players in the league. Zion made the All-Star team, Ja did not. Zion is in All-NBA conversations, and Ja is not. In the regular season this year, despite the Pelicans' team struggles, Zion was seen as the clear better player. Going into the play-in tournament, the Grizzlies would have to win 2 games in a row to make the playoffs. In the first game against the Spurs, the Grizzlies would win. Ja Morant wouldn't have the best game statistically, but he definitely didn't underperform, and all that matters is that they won. And the Warriors lost a close game to the Lakers, so that would be the matchup. A winner-go-home game between the Warriors and Grizzlies. And Ja Morant, in that game, would put up 35 points, 6 rebounds, dished out 6 assists, and got 4 steals, and did this on 48% shooting from the field, as well as shooting 50% on threes, while making 5 of them that game. And he would lead the Grizzlies past Steph Curry and the Warriors, so Ja Morant would make the playoffs for the first time in his career. Many young players crumble under the pressure of the playoffs, but Ja didn't. In the playoffs, he averaged 30 points, 5 rebounds, and 8 assists a game on 49% shooting from the field. That's phenomenal, especially for a player in his second season in the league. This means that Ja got significantly farther than Zion ever has. Now we know what Ja can do in the playoffs and in big games, unlike Zion. Now that alone doesn't mean Ja is a better player than him, but it does say a lot. And in terms of pure dominance, Zion is much better than Ja Morant. He was breaking multiple records that have been set by players like a young Shaq. He's 6'7", but plays and dominates the ball like a 7-footer. Ja Morant's game relies more on skill than it does strength. And in terms of individual production, in the regular season at least, Zion is the better player. But Ja has a much bigger impact on winning. The Pelicans have better pieces around Zion. They have Brandon Ingram, which is an all-star, Lonzo Ball, Steven Adams, Eric Bledsoe, Josh Hart, and some other players. But the fit is pretty questionable, so the team doesn't fit well with Zion. Zion needs shooters, I'm sure we can all agree on that. And he's capable of finding the open man, and he needs space to work in the paint. But players like Eric Bledsoe and Steven Adams don't help in that regard. Ja's team doesn't have better individual players than the Pelicans, but they fit much better with him. And the Grizzlies have more depth. Jonas Valanciunas is one of the most underrated centers in the league and is a top 5 to 8 center in my book. Dylan Brooks has been great, and they also haven't even had Triple J play that much this year. They also have Grayson Allen, Tyus Jones, Kyle Anderson, Brendan Clark, and DeAnthony Melton. Some people think that Zion has more help, but I do think it's a lot closer than people think. Sure, he has another star in his team, but the surrounding pieces are pretty comparable. Who do I think is the better player? I think Zion Williamson is. But if my life is on the line and I need someone to win one critical game, I would rather put my life in the hands of Ja Morant. We've seen him on the big stage, we've seen him in critical games, and we know what he can do. But on the other hand, Zion Williamson's production in the play-in or playoff games is still a mystery. If I want to build my team around a player, I would take Ja Morant. He contributes to winning and has a bigger impact than Zion, plus he's a very durable player so far in his career. The gap between these two players is very close, and this could change in the very near future. In the regular season next year, anything can happen and the narrative can change once again. But for now, I think Zion Williamson is a better player, but I would rather build around Ja Morant and have him lead my team. I hope you enjoyed today's video. I respond to every comment, so let me know what you think in the comments down below. Subscribe for future basketball content, and thank you for watching.